So you guys want to drive a brand new car and not drive just this practical beater car? Be aware of the expenses that modern cars have and why all our insurance companies keep raising our premiums higher and higher every year. For most of us, we have a 6-month premium when it comes to our car insurance, and every 6 months it renews. Typically, as you get older, insurance rates are supposed to go down and get cheaper as long as you haven't had any accidents and you have a perfect driving record. But for the last couple years, that has not been the case. Rates have been going up and up, which it could be a combination of one, more people driving in your city. As kids, teenagers start to grow up, they start to drive, and typically that household of 5 where it was only the mom and dad driving, now they have a couple teenagers driving, and typically they're the ones on a higher risk of having accidents or just causing insurance premiums to go up. Another thing could be just the cost of materials when it comes to replacing cars. As most of you guys know, if you don't know, if you go for an electric car, those are typically a little bit more expensive to repair, especially when it comes to Teslas. And 3, modern cars have all this modern technology. That's another thing that gets expensive if you're going to be repairing. All of us have to suffer the consequences from that, unfortunately. Recently, I had to replace my windshield on my 22 Subaru BRZ. I've owned this car for a little bit over 3 years now, and I got a couple rock chips from driving behind a semi truck that was just throwing little pellets out. Got a couple little things on the windshield, but nothing too crazy. One day I parked it, and from it being super cold, a little crack developed. I had that crack on the windshield for probably, I'll say 6 to 7 months, and I finally decided to just get it fixed and get it over with. So I just got here, but one thing I'm gonna do is just kind of remove my dash cams and my air fresheners, just because they are gonna be taking away the glass. I kind of wanted to do 2025 starting fresh with the brand new windshield. I ended up scheduling an appointment with Safe Light to take it in. I was quoted about an hour wait. Roughly it was about almost 2 hours. It was about like an hour 30, an hour 40. When I got there, they thought my car had the eyesight feature.
So it would just be a lot smaller now.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, because this is where the camera's supposed to be for your car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it will still fit. It will still fit and everything. The only thing is it's just a little bit different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, that's right, because the newer ones, this is a 22, the 24s got like the eyesight camera
That's
thing.
correct, yes. That's
Yeah,
correct.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it has the cameras right here next to the rearview mirror, but it doesn't. This is a 2022 manual car, so they didn't have that feature until the 2024 model, which was a good thing for me, I guess, because car windshields have these little dots in the top. I really don't know what it's for, but I'm guessing it might be where they mount the rearview mirror and like all those cameras. Maybe they need like a grainy surface so it can mount and stick to instead of a smooth glass surface. So when I went in, they were thinking it was gonna be that. And they actually told me because of that type of glass, it's 1, more expensive, 2, they had to calibrate it, and 3, the wait time on that is basically like 3 to 5 hours. But once they found out that was actually the regular glass and I didn't have that extra feature, that once again makes everything more expensive. And the fact that you gotta calibrate a windshield now is crazy. Imagine telling that to your grandpa, your dad, like, I gotta get my windshield calibrated. It's almost like asking for windshield washer fluid. It is kind of ridiculous that a windshield has to get calibrated. That's something that apparently they do nowadays. So yeah, sometimes the less technology is a little bit better. So I ended up waiting in the waiting room for like an hour and a half, and once everything was done, I went to go pay my deductible, which was, for my deductible, it was only $100, which is good. And I honestly didn't know it was actually $100. I thought it was like 500 or 700 or something. They were actually changing it because they told me that they were charging me, or my insurance, the calibrated windshield, which was more expensive. So I'm assuming that the email receipt they sent me was based off the new windshield that doesn't need the calibration. So for my model year car, 2022 Subaru BRZ Limited, so I'm gonna break it down just kind of how the receipt is right here. The part alone was $205.46. Let's just round it up to $206 for a windshield, just for the part. For the labor, this is the craziest part. For labor, almost actually triple, $484.70 to replace this windshield. But on a new one, $484.70 is really steep. Core sales tax right here in the Bay Area, it was $19.29. So my total cost, if I didn't have a $100 deductible, or if you just wanted to pay out of pocket, would have been $709.45. That is ridiculous. Once again, guys, I think this is going based off just a regular windshield and not the one that you got to get it calibrated. That's probably more than $2,000 to replace a windshield that needs a calibration. And if you didn't have good insurance, or if you were paying out of pocket, that's almost like buying an old used car for just replacing a windshield. Let's bring it back to how I mentioned, if you go for like an electric car, those prices on those cars are so much more expensive. I've been looking at getting a Model Y long range to replace one of my other vehicles that I need for work, and the insurance on that literally more than this car and my other car combined just for that car alone. I always recommend checking how much the insurance is before going and buying a car. I used to do the opposite when I used to buy other cars. I just wanted to make this quick video on just kind of like insurance, some of the factors that cause insurance to go up. I all know it, but I know a lot of my audience are in the 18 to 25 range, and they're probably just buying their first cars, or they're looking for new cars, or they're looking for good daily cars. And most of my channel is about the BRZ, GR86, FRS. Cost on insurance on these cars, obviously a lot of factors, but it always tends to be a lot cheaper than going for like a Mustang. That's my video today on car insurance and just like the little story of me getting a new windshield for my car. So far, A-okay with their job they've done. They did a really good job.
Not gonna lie guys, this looks a little janky with all these wires just kind of hanging loose. I swear, if it's not one thing that looks janky on my car, it's something else.